October 21st, 2020. Absolutely beautiful day out. The colors are on full. It's warm. There's a nice breeze. Got a little cloudy, but if that's your only complaint, I'd say you're having a good day. Got some new parts in for the greenhouse. Let's go have a look at that. Those figs are growing. That's pretty exciting. Got daddy long leg spiders all over the place here, looking for bugs. So I talked about doing putting new pumps in for the circulation system, and also adding a pump that circulates warm water under this entire bed over here. Those came in today, so I'm excited about that. They're rated at 800 liters per hour. Let's see, that'd be 200 gallons an hour, so under a gallon a minute. But that's okay. That should transfer plenty of heat. They're 12 volts and they're rated at 19 watts. We'll see how they actually check out on watts. I think the old pump, where did I put that? I think the old pump up there was rated at 24 or maybe even 32. And at least in the situation I was running it in, it was only drawing 8 watts. So I'm hoping that these will fall a little under their rating as well. Although 19 watts isn't bad for moving a tremendous amount of heat around. These say they come with an 18-inch lead. I don't know if that's quite going to be enough. I might have to do a sealed extension lead on it. Or I may set a brick or some sort of support structure up off the bottom of the tank, and the pump could sit on that. I'm probably not going to use the suction cups that they come with, because my tank isn't plastic and those things wouldn't stick to anything in that tank. I can guarantee it. The surface is just too rough. But anyway, I'm excited that these are in. I'm going to hook one of these up to power and just make sure it works and all that sort of stuff. I don't know if I'm going to put this in the earlier part of this video or a later part of this video or a different video. But yesterday I did manage to trace down the bad sensor issue and straighten it out, at least enough to have working sensors. I have only one hooked up right now. I think I have 3 or 4 more new sensors here to replace the ones that went bad with a lightning strike. So I'm going to replace those, and I'll have to reduce my data logging script down to just support those 4 sensors and to support these new addresses. Just kind of a pain, but not a big deal. October 20th, 2020. Here in the greenhouse. Been having ongoing Raspberry Pi issues, sensor issues. Finally got some tracing done between about 15 other things tonight. Found on the Easy Connect here, which is this board on top of the Pi, the resistor that goes between power and GPIO 4 got shot out by the lightning, I believe. Measured 25 ohms, should measure 4.7 k ohms. So I replaced that, and then I still had sensors not reporting correct addresses. Weird stuff going on. So I traced and disconnected sensors all along the way, trying to figure out which one was bad or which ones were bad. Finally disconnected all sensors, put a brand new sensor on right to the board, popped right up, no problem. So then I went back and disconnected all other sensors, old sensors, put the new sensor out on the lead for the stove over here just to make sure that my Cat 5 wire wasn't fried out. Got good readings there. So I think what happened is that lightning strike took out all the sensors as well as that resistor on the board. I guess I'll just try and find a spot to show you this resistor on. Maybe we'll just do it right on the keyboard here. If you look really close at this, can see it's a little bulged and one end is a little fried. So that's the resistor I pulled out that was bad. Turns out that was the problem. So I have a few new sensors here. I'm going to have to order some more to replace all of them. So that's the next step. For now, I at least figured out what the issue was and straightened it out. And let's see, I guess I should mention I have not installed the new 5-volt regulator yet. I didn't want to change anything else in the system until I could diagnose and trace out what the actual issue was behind the sensors. Now that I've done that, we'll move forward. It won't be tonight, because tonight, in about an hour, I have to go do Comrades and Farms, which is my live stream show here on YouTube and also on Truth Frequency Radio. We're also streamed on iHeart, Tuned In, and TalkStream Live as well. That's that. But that's an update for here, and this won't even get up until after my show is over, because I don't have time to, and I'll just be limping along on those for now. I think I'm going to do one for stove, one for thermal mass, one for inside temperature, and one for outside temperature, and then I can manage vents and you know, see where the thermal mass temperature is and how many BTUs are in storage. Until I have the pumps hooked up, I don't even need to look at the other thermal mass for comparative reasons. And we'll get some more sensors in here when funding allows, and get this back up to full operational. But just thought I would do a quick update and talk about it a little bit and show off the new pumps. Excited to see how they perform. And that's that for now. Hope you found this interesting or informative. And if you haven't seen my series on how to build your own greenhouse, I just put out part 2 yesterday, and we're going to go into all the little eccentricities about greenhouses and temperature control and design and implementation and all that sort of stuff as it relates to plant health and plant comfort. So I hope you'll check that out as well. And I guess that's it for now. I just want to say also I'm pretty stoked. We didn't get a lot of sun today, but we had you know, less cloud cover, so better light intensity. And I did charge this up a little bit with a bulk charge last night with a battery charger, but after sitting overnight with no charger connected and just collecting solar power today, we're sitting at 13 volts here, or 12.98 volts. So I'm very happy to see that. That's a relief. I do still need to get a replacement battery here, but we'll get to that. But nice to see our DC power supply system working reliably and correctly, and I'm able to open the vents, even though it's not automatic right now. At least I can do it from the console inside. On these days when the sun pops out and it's warm out, I can just send the command and they open up. So that's very nice. Well, actually, I just unwrapped that wire for the pump, and it looks like there's plenty of slack to go all the way to the bottom of the tank, which is kind of nice, with a good foot or more of extra room to make wiring connections and keep the connections up out of the water. I probably still will put something up off the bottom of the tank, at least a couple inches, just so we're up out of the sediment. I don't want to be pulling any kind of debris into the pump and end up causing a pump failure as a result of bad engineering. So that's encouraging. So just in here using, I wrote a couple of scripts for turning the pump on and off manually for testing, or for when I'm in the greenhouse and want to play around. There was a term color module I put on there so that my text feedbacks would be in color, pump on in green and pump off in red. That module wasn't installed from the problem before, so reinstalled that. Not a big deal. The command for that, in case you need term color, is sudo apt-get install python-pip followed by sudo pip install term color. Anyway, that's a side note. I got the pump turned on right now. You can see that by the relay number 3 there on the bottom is lit up. And I just stuck it down in here. No hoses connected or anything. Just wanted to see how it worked. And it's actually moving a pretty good amount of water. Quite impressive, actually. I think these pumps are going to work out really nice for thermal mass circulation. It's just sitting on a brick down there, and I just kind of temporarily wired it in here on the old power wire that ran the old circulator pump. Just thought I would show a shot of it functioning, and I guess we'll turn it on and off and see what the power draw is on it. Alright, the pump is off right now. I'm going to turn it on. And then we'll turn it off again. So it went up to almost 8 watts draw, and it was down at -2 or 3 watts charge. So it looks like it draws about 10 watts, at least set up in the tank like it is. Obviously that's not with lines connected and under a lot more line resistance, flow resistance, restrictive load, so to speak. So that 19 watt rating is probably be about right once we're pumping through tubing and up any kind of vertical head to get through the coils and such. But I'm really excited that that works so well. It's nice and quiet, and I think these are going to work out great. So look forward to the upgrades with that. I got a lot of work ahead of me. Anyway, I guess that's everything on the pumps for now. Okay, here we are inside on the secondary monitor. This is the SQL dashboards console for the greenhouse. This basically charts all the temperature data for me. Heads-up display, separate monitor, so I don't have to mess around. It's always available at a glance when I need it. The upper chart is BTUs in storage, and the bottom chart is temperature sensors based on which sensor it's coming from. I got all the sensors working here this afternoon. There's only 4 right now, but that's enough to do the job. We'll go out and take a look in the greenhouse at how that's set up, and yeah, we'll go from there. Alright, so here we are back in the greenhouse. We'll just finish this up quick. So the pump is still wired. Obviously I haven't finalized that wiring, and I haven't hooked up any tubing yet, but it tested out clear. That's awesome. I came back and added a second sensor here over on the stove. One is monitoring the thermal mass, and the other one on the wire here is monitoring stove temperature. It's basically picking up radiated heat from the stove. These sensors are good to about 250 Fahrenheit, so you have to be careful in the wintertime when the stove's running really hot. We could probably reach close to that right here. So that's why they're spaced off and not just mounted right to the stove. And you'll find that it's actually really responsive even when you're spaced off. I used to keep about a 6-inch space off, and I may change how this works later on, but it works for now, and it tells me relatively whether the stove is creating heat or running out of heat, or if a log didn't catch or whatever. What else? Let's see. Oh, I put 2 new sensors in here. Obviously I have to finalize the wiring here as well. It's kind of a rat's nest again, but one goes outside and goes on a little pole that sticks out the end of the greenhouse, like my finger, so it gets outside temperature, and one sits here right in the middle of the greenhouse, and that basically gives us the average greenhouse temperature. That's enough to govern our venting system off of for now. So that's all set, and I guess real quick we'll just show you the all 4 sensors are reporting now. I guess just real quick, now that I have the sensors all connected and working, I'll show you that. We'll just do a there we go, quick list of that directory, and you can see all 4 sensors show up and report their addresses correctly. So that's good. And then I had to take those addresses, I just drop them into a text file. I guess I should show you that, or could show you that quickly. The YouTube notifications would get out of the way. I got a list right here. So I make a text list of this, and I update that every time I have to add or change sensors. And you'll see there's a date there, and some other information about it, and then each sensor by what it is, and then its address. So that makes it really easy. I can take this document and download it from the console inside over secure FTP, and then I can just copy and paste these addresses into the script that does all the data logging. If you're curious about the script that does all the data logging, I did a video on that. That's on my series, Set Up Your Own Raspberry Pi. And I'll throw a playlist link right here for you. Alright, I think that's everything on the greenhouse recently. So we have the sensors back online and data logging. We have the DC system working again. The relays all seem to be working. I do have to rewrite the vent code for the new sensors. In the future, once we get all the little pieces of this sorted out, all that code is going to be condensed and pulled from one database probably, or something like that, as a way to store that sensor data and update it dynamically, rather than have to rewrite several scripts every time sensors are changed. Eventually we may set it up so that you can plug a sensor in and it'll automatically detect the sensor, grab its address, and ask you what you want to assign it to. But that's all future code work to be done. We've got a lot of hardware stuff ahead of us first to get things ironed out and get the kinks out. Anyway, the stove is running right now. I showed you the chart inside there, and I'll throw another snapshot here for you, but I'll just give you a look inside the stove. You can see she's cooking along. Not running super hard tonight. It's not all that cold out. I'm just trying to keep it a little warmer in here, in part for plant comfort and in part for drying those sunflower seeds on the drying rack that I showed you the other day, if you watched that video. I think that's it for everything for the update for the greenhouse, the Raspberry Pi, the data sensors, the new pumps, etc., etc. I'm going to keep chipping away at this. The rest of my week is pretty busy, so I don't know how far I'll get on that for now. But of course, I'll upload another update when I do. Thanks for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't seen my show, Comrades in Farm, you should check that out. We talk about all sorts of things related to plant health, human health, animal health, seed quality, plant quality, soil quality, building soils, regenerative agriculture, Korean natural farming, and on down the list. We also talk about technical details like Raspberry Pi and stuff. And I also have a series on how to set up and build your own greenhouse. I just started creating that series now. I just released part 2 yesterday or the day before. Anyway, that's what's going on here. I hope you'll check out more of my channel if you find this interesting. And thanks for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network.